send another song.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Effizode 557. It's Thursday, August 29th, 2013, 9 p.m. Pacific Time. Internet talk radio for your imagination. Mike Matthews broadcasting from the last place on earth located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, California. Today we hear from Madame Rootabega, Valentino, Bison Bentley. Plus, we bring you the segment Do You Know Dat? Featuring some cool entertainment news you won't find anywhere else.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And I have this problem that maybe you can give me a little help.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
It seems that when I meet cool people, when I'm out walking, Basil the boxer, I like to be a bit of a talker, and I end up talking to some very lovely ladies for quite a while. But then all I get is just a smile because I don't ask for their phone number or anything. And then they vanish and I never see them again.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
You might be saying, well, Mike, why don't you just ask for the phone number? Or at least you can maybe find a friend.
Mike's
by talking to them
Daily
for a long period of time.
Podcast.
Maybe you go get some coffee with them. Maybe this is how you work around those dating websites that I've heard so many horrible things about. I have no problem talking to people. As you see, I do a podcast where I talk. I have no problem talking. It's just the closing the deal, as many men in business suits with very bleached hair say. Bleached hair? Nicely coiffed? I don't know. I have an image of the guy that fought the main hero in Karate Kid. The blonde guy. His hair was... So all my villains look like him. The villain from the Karate Kid. Oh, Ralph Macchio. How we enjoyed you in that movie. And my cousin Vinny. Well, so in this story that I am talking to you about meeting someone and talking to them, this particularly happened when I took Basil the Boxer to Crissy Field the other day because they were just about to close the Bay Bridge, and I thought I would drive across it one last time before it is closed forever. And we went to Crissy Field. Basil the Boxer and I have never been there. We get there, and we're walking along, and there's this beautiful, she's blonde, a blonde gal that apparently runs her own dog walking service. She's got a bunch of dogs. She likes Basil. She thinks he's cool. I know a lot about dogs. The dogs are running around and playing. It's fun. She's lived in the South. I lived in the South. There's so many connections on so many levels. We talked for about an hour, and then I'm just sort of like, well, it's good talking to you. Nice meeting your dogs. Bye. So I messed up there. But in this interesting story within this story, what was her name? This woman's name was Jeanette or Janelle. Good one. I'm on my way remembering people's names like this. And she's got all these dogs, right? And she kind of lets them all go, and they go running along, and they all flock to these young people sitting at Crissy Field trying to have a picnic on a nice day. They're trying to have a picnic, and all the dogs converge upon them. And these young people look quite upset. And they're kind of like, hey, come on, doing that kind of thing. And Janelle, whatever, she's like, oh, sorry, you know. And then she was kind of embarrassed, like, oh, I hope they don't report me. Oh. But the picnickers were so incensed that it made me think, well, you're sitting at Crissy Field, which is a big dog area. You would probably expect to have at least one dog come up to you. You know, never mind the fact that 800 dogs have just converged upon you, but, you know, just be prepared for dogs. There could be a bunch at one time, like what happened to you, picnickers, or maybe none. That's the price you pay going to Crissy Field. Look who just walked in.
Hello, my masters. This is Madame Rootabega.
What was that sound effect?
That was the sound of me disappearing.
But you're right here.
But I've reappeared.
Uh-huh. You're making a comment on my comment about people disappearing. When you meet someone, here in the Bay Area, they just vanish?
Yes, Michael Matthew. I find that fascinating that people disappear. It's like it's a Bermuda Triangle.
Actually, that's what the song, The Sign by Ace of Base, that's what that song's about, is the Bermuda Triangle.
No, it's not, Michael Matthew. You had that wrong the other day.
I did have that. It's about a breakup, apparently, is what I found out. If you didn't know that, you should listen to the last podcast.
Michael Matthew, was the last podcast also from the last place on Earth?
All the podcasts are from the last place on Earth. That's where we are now. Look at all the people. We got Basil the Boxer sitting on a couch right there. Got all these wonderful people over here. All of them I'm too shy to talk to. What should I do, Madame Rootabega?
Michael Matthew, what you need to do is come out of your shell.
My shell. You know, I'm not some kind of crustacean. I don't have a shell around me. I need to emerge. I need to talk to people. I need to be like William Shatner and talk about Priceline.
No, Michael Matthew, don't talk about that. When I ring this bell, you will become an extrovert.
Hey, how you doing? My name's Mike. What's up? How's it going? Basil's scared. He doesn't like me like this.
Okay, I'll change you back.
I am so shy. Look who else just walked in.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the back of that dent.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Guys, do you have any advice for me about, how to, talk to, people?
Mike, you just talk to people. You go up, you put your face near their face, and you go, hello there. My name is Mike Matthews. Only in your case, you'll say Valentino, the parking attendant.
No, I think I would go with the first part.
Whatever, there.
Yeah, whatever. Quit asking for our advice. Do you know that?
I would like to talk about Miley Cyrus right now. So I saw that little clip. I think I told you about the VMAs and how I was complaining there wasn't any rock at the VMAs. Remember the days of Foo Fighters, or remember the Guns N' Roses? Was it Guns N' Roses and Aerosmith that were having a big feud one year? And all the other, or was it with Motley Crue? I forget. And all the other rock acts throughout history that have played at the VMAs. But none this year, whatever. So the big news, Miley Cyrus doing her twerking, and now twerking becoming one of the biggest new cliches of the week. Oh, we haven't done that in a while. So what was I saying? Oh, yeah. Justin Timberlake defended Miley Cyrus as she did. What's the cliche of the week? The cliche is, what's the cliche of the week? Twerking. What's the cliche of the week? Twerking. What's the cliche of the week? You're such a twerk. So he said, it's the VMAs. It's not like she did all that at the Grammys. Like, let her do her thing, he said. Madonna, wedding suit, humping the stage, Britney, striptease. This is not an uncommon thing, said Justin. What's the cliche of the week? I actually thought all the bears were really cool. What's the cliche of the week? Is what he said. And then Donald Trump. What's the cliche of the week? He had a Vine video. What's the cliche of the week? One of those short ones that repeat, and he says, Miley, don't let them get you down. They're all jealous. He dubbed the video a message to my hotel guest. Huh? Was that...
Mike, Donald Trump is one of my heroes. There, don't say anything bad about him. There, you're fired.
Yeah, he's the greatest guy that ever lived, and his hair is completely natural. Do you know that?
I don't think, whatever. So, what do you think about the whole thing that Miley Cyrus did? Were you amused? Were you shocked and offended? Email me, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. Also, email me there if you'd like to be a guest on the show, or if you would like to sponsor the show, mikesdailypodcast@gmail. And we read your comments on the section, emails from email. What? We have a website? That's right, mikesdailypodcast.com. Go there to find the link to where to find us on Facebook, and like the show on Facebook. And when you see the new post that I post for the show, share that with your friends. Repost that, share that, so that all your friends will find out about Mike's Daily Podcast. Just like the wonderful Trisha Ferguson does and Aaron Fonseca does, and they let all their friends know, and it helps the show. It really does. More people listen to it, download it, stream it, what have you. So the links to that, the links to where to find the show in iTunes, Spreaker, SoundCloud, YouTube. We're also on Twitter, and we're also on Yelp. Links to all of those, and nobody's Yelped about us. I think we've only got one person that Yelped about the show. So if you want to Yelp about it, it's not just a thing for restaurants and hotels and car mechanics. Yelp also is a great place to talk great stuff about your favorite podcast, hopefully this one, mikesdailypodcast.com, where to find all those links. And we also have the Amazon deal of the day. If you click on that and buy something, we see a little money. And we also have the blog and the daily podcast picture at mikesdailypodcast.com.
It's Bison Bentley's Do You Know Dat?
Hey, this is Bison Bentley, and Mike Matthews has a couple of stories that'll make you want to ask yourself, do you know that? Do you know that? Do you know that? Do you know that?
Bison Bentley asks that question, and oftentimes we don't know that. And these are some things I didn't know until I read them, and I think you might find them fascinating too, as you ask yourself, do you know that about these stories concerning entertainment?
So come on, let me entertain you.
We begin with the decrepit world of music and how the music industry is slowly making a rebound. A decade ago, around the time Tower Records was going away and album sales continued to nosedive, the music press was flooded with think pieces about how to save the labels from drowning in red ink. Many of those zeroed in on the cost of CDs, which were at $10 a CD, and the various ways in which labels could tamp down on digital sharing. However, we have seen from 2000 the sales of albums going from 785 million down to 326 million a decade later. Overall sales are still down this year compared with the first half of last year, but the industry is optimistic thanks to the growing market share for digital music and the explosion of streaming volume. The streaming world. More than 50 billion songs have been streamed so far. This according to an article called How the Music Industry Saved Itself in Entertainment Weekly magazine. They have some of the reasons how the music industry saved itself. The first one is they gave away a little to get back a lot, which is music fans responded to getting an advanced taste of an album for free. A number of high-profile artists have done it, and they've made their new albums available as free streams a week before the release date, and they all enjoyed a significant first-week sales bump over their previous releases. Another thing the music industry is doing is offering options. A streaming subscription here, a handful of iTunes downloads there, even the purchase of old CDs, old-fashioned CDs. People are trying all sorts of different ways, and the music industry is becoming more open to that. Embracing even older technology, the music industry is also selling vinyl. People are willing to pay more for a product that feels special and sounds possibly better. There were over 4.5 million pieces of vinyl sold last year, compared with only 990,000 in 2007. Also, the music industry is working outside the system. For the recent rollout of Magna Carta Holy Grail, Jay-Z partnered with Samsung, and they bought 1 million digital copies of the record, Samsung did, and gave them away for free via an app available only to Samsung customers. Essentially, Samsung underwrote a leak of the new album. And finally, the music industry, their main thing, the main law they're trying to uphold is don't be like Kanye. In the lead up to the release of his album Yeezus, Kanye West made a handful of appearances but mostly skipped promotion altogether, and he refused to adopt the industry's new model. Yeezus ended up selling a first-week career low of only 327,000.
and the buzz died down almost instantly, with sales dropping 80% in week 2. Another big part of the entertainment world is Disneyland. And Condé Nast Traveler magazine wrote about Disneyland and Disney World recently and brought up some interesting points. That in 1971, the price of a ticket to Disneyland was $3.50. The price of a ticket to Disneyland today is $89. Jeez. The number of times the entire park, this being Disneyland, has closed. Oh, actually, this is Disney World, has closed since its opening day in 1971 was 4 times. That's the number of times it's closed. Only 4 times. One of them was on 9/11, and the other 3 dates were because of weather. As you know, Florida gets hit by those hurricanes. November 22nd, my birthday, 1964. I was born 4 years later, but on that date, Walt Disney decided to build his new Florida park in Orlando. He used frontmen to snap up 27,500 acres cheaply without raising suspicion about his grand plan. Yes, he took the land incognito without anyone realizing, oh my God, Disney is moving in. And some other interesting things you didn't know: the tunnels that employees use to get quickly around the park and to transport deliveries are not the dank catacombs that you might imagine. They're rather industrial corridors called utilidors, and aren't truly underground, but on the first floor of the Magic Kingdom. The public part of the park starts on the second floor. What do they do with all the garbage? They suck it away through massive pneumatic tubes under the park. And I've been saying it wrong. Disney World is actually the entire complex in Orlando. It's not just the what would be the Disneyland. That they call that Magic Kingdom. There was in the beginning just that and 2 hotels. Later came Epcot, Disney's Hollywood Studios, and Disney's Animal Kingdom. Today, the 4 parks combined draw 47 million visitors annually, and the Magic Kingdom is the most visited theme park in the world. 33% of the Disney World property is designated a wilderness preserve. And what got Disney off the ground? Movies. And speaking of movies, did you know that in 2009, eager studio executives looked at Avatar's $2.8 billion worldwide gross and the groundbreaking 3D technology and said, this might become something. And it did. Alice in Wonderland became a $1 billion hit a few months later. Fox, Paramount, Disney, and Universal shelled out $700 million to help equip theaters with new projectors, and the number of 3D releases jumped from 20 in 2009 to 45 in 2011. But in 4 years, that has all changed. 3D box office receipts are taking a serious tumble these days. Audiences are increasingly opting for cheaper 2D tickets. Animated movies have never done that well in the format, except for Toy Story 3 did pretty good. But this year, the big bombs have been Monsters University as far as 3D percentage. People actually going to see the movie in 3D. Only 31% saw it in 3D, Monsters University. Despicable Me, only 27% saw it. And the worst, Turbo, it only had 25%. Moviegoers have been burned too many times by an inferior product. The difference between specifically crafted 3D spectacles like Avatar and notorious post-conversion disasters like 2010's Clash of the Titans have affected people, according to this article in Entertainment Weekly. Even James Cameron, the director of Avatar, said recently, quote, Man of Steel, Iron Man 3, and all those movies should not necessarily be in 3D. If you spend $150 million on visual effects, the film is already going to be spectacular. TV is seeing the loss of 3D, including ESPN announcing the end of its 3D channel. And the BBC has put all of its 3D plans on hold, even though the Doctor Who 50th year anniversary special, that's going to be in 3D. Theater owners have already invested in digital equipment. They like the extra money. Essentially, it's an add-on for them. And at $10 to $20 million a pop in converting the movies into 3D, it's still relatively cheap for studios. They can earn back that investment fairly easily. And 3D is not going away because developing markets like China, Russia, and Brazil have seen major growth since Avatar in 2009. 3D is a regular, accepted part of the experience for many of those international moviegoers.
Let me entertain, let me entertain, let me entertain you.
And finally, why do we even go see movies anymore anyway when we've got huge television screens at home that we can watch the movies on? Well, this might be a change that will happen. It's because of a theater called Alamo Drafthouse. The Austin-based chain, which currently has 15 theaters nationwide, plans to open 9 new locations from San Francisco to Kalamazoo within the next 2 years. It exploded into the mass consciousness in 2011 when one of its pre-screening no-talking PSAs went viral. The video, which has more than 3 million hits on YouTube, is a recording of a voicemail from a customer who was booted out of the theater for texting during a movie. Quote, I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to text in your little crappy theater, says the person on the voicemail. I've texted in all the other theaters in Austin, and no one ever gave a bleep. Thanks for taking my money, you bleep hole. You're welcome, replies the management in the PSA. Thanks for not coming back to the Alamo Drafthouse Theater, texter. Within 36 hours, that video was on Anderson Cooper. Get this, the Alamo Drafthouse Theater has waiters that bring you strangely high-quality booze and food. They also have old-school clips and trailers that run instead of commercials. And they held a special screening of the original Indiana Jones trilogy where their menu included eyeball soup and monkey brains. For the Tim Burton world premiere of Frankenweenie, the Alamo reserved an entire theater for dog owners and their pooches. Wow. And this is the topper, the topless. Free admission to naked customers for a screening of Doris Wishman's 1961 sexploitation flick, Nude on the Moon. It attracted 120 nudists, and they say they will never do that again. People complaining my screen looks better at home, my experience is better at home. Why am I going to the movie theater? Well, Tim League and his wife Carrie opened their first theater in Bakersfield on a whim in 1994. He had driven past the Tejon, an old-fashioned movie house with a for lease sign in the window. Quote, I'd never even processed the idea that you could open a movie theater. The couple took over the 500-seat cinema, moved into the room behind the screen, and opened for business on a Friday night with Citizen Kane. They closed the theater a year later after a love triangle ended with a man getting shot in his car and crashing into the ticket booth. We knew we could not recover, says League, so they moved to Austin, borrowed $150,000 from League's in-laws, and opened the first Alamo Drafthouse in 1997 with a double feature of This Is Spinal Tap and Raising Arizona. Soon the place was selling out, with League serving as a kind of carny showman host of special event screenings ranging from 70s blaxploitation movies to sing-along classics to classic silent films. I can't wait to see this movie theater come to the San Francisco area. I have only been to a theater kind of like that called the ArcLight Theater in Los Angeles. I have only been to that once, and it was for seeing the Simpsons movie. And it was so amazing to sit in these really nice, comfortable chairs, to be given an assigned seat that you could pick beforehand and not have to look for the seat in the dark theater, and then to have someone come out at the beginning of the show and kind of explain a little bit about the movie. And then the whole no texting, no cell phones allowed type thing, treating it like you're actually at a live performance of something, which I appreciated.
Hey, as we go outside the last place on earth where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast, anyone realize that the Under the Dome is the exact same plot line as that Simpsons movie? And the Simpsons movie came out before the book did? What up, Stephen King?
And here's today's podcast picture.
The picture is such a wonderful, serene picture. No, it's not. It's me with the Peanuts characters, the major ones, the ones that we all love, Snoopy, Charlie Brown, and Lucy. And they've got the big life-size ones. If you ever wondered what they look like life-size, well, they are at the Giants Stadium wearing Giants paraphernalia. And I'm posing with them, with right next to Charlie Brown because I kind of look like him. And I used to be called Blockhead. So I kind of relate to him. And that's a fun picture that you can find right now at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Michael Matthew, but I think is that you need to vanish.
Wait, why would you even say that for?
Michael Matthew, I think if you vanish, then you are talking to a beautiful guy.
A beautiful what?
A beautiful guy.
A beautiful girl?
Yes, Michael Matthew, if you vanish while you are in front of her, she will respect you and she will want to be your girlfriend.
That's some weird advice. Tomorrow we will bring you the... Oh my gosh, we haven't done this segment in a long time. Oh, it is long awaited, much missed. It is Mike's Scavenger Hunt. We'll do that. Plus, we'll hear from Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the Engineer.
Like Donald Trump is one of my heroes there. Don't say anything bad about him.
I can't help but say something bad about him. He ran for president. Can you imagine that guy as president? That guy dealing with Syria? That guy dealing with the NSA problems? He'd be like, hey, I'm Donald Trump. Jeez, I'm huge.
Mike, was that supposed to be a Donald Trump impression day?
I've heard worse.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!